Hi, and welcome to this installment of Frank and Mary here in Westborough, the COVID-19 edition. You haven't seen this show before. My name is Art Bergeron. I'm an attorney at Myrick O'Connell. I do nothing but elder law, but this is not about elder law. This is about primarily my friends Frank and Mary and their kids, Peter, Paul, and Mary Jr. If you've seen me do presentations, you know that their goal is to live in their house until they die and be buried in the backyard, right? I see our guest just smiled at that. I always tell my seniors, if you're old enough to get the joke, you're old enough to be my client. So the purpose of this show is to allow you, if you identify with Frank and Mary and you're here in Westborough, to know the people you need to know and the programs you need to know about in order to be happily living here in Westborough. And right now, if you're Frank and Mary, you've been stuck in your house for like way too long and you're trying to figure out how to get out, but also trying to figure out how everybody else is doing it and what else is going on. So that's the purpose of this show. Now, you all know, if you've seen this, that my good friend Shelby Marshall is my terrific co-host because she knows everybody because she's a selectman here in Westborough. Shelby, thank you for coming on. I noticed that you told me that we actually have a guest that we've had on before, but her ratings were so high that she got invited back by popular demand. This is very exciting. So whom do we have today?
Yeah, so off the charts rating for our guest today, Kelley Patralia. Kelley is the executive director of Westborough Connects, and really she requires no further introduction. Hi, Kelley.
Hello. Thank you. Thanks for having me today. I have to say, it was a nice change of pace to dig out the hairdryer, decide on the root color spray to use. I actually went with the headband instead.
I'm going au naturel.
Oh, nice.
Right. And we don't actually know if you still have pajamas on, but you know, your head was great. Headshot is great. So.
So I asked Kelley to come on. We had a great conversation months ago now, I guess, with Kelley as she was sort of previewing the Aging Enjoyably in Westborough event that we had. That was such a great success, and obviously sharing with the community what is Westborough Connects. So Westborough Connects has been doing amazing work across generations and our entire community since then. But I've asked Kelley to come on today to talk specifically about how Westborough Connects has been connecting with the community during this COVID-19 crisis, and specifically to talk about a really, really cool project that they have launched called Together Apart Always, if I got that right, Kelley. So please, Kelley, take it away, and the show is yours.
Hey, thank you so much. So as Shelby said, Westborough Connects is a growing organization. We're small, but we've been very busy recently. We have always been, since our inception, pretty busy and growing quickly. But the need for sort of our mission of connecting and building community strength and spreading kindness in this whole context and frame of what's going on with the COVID-19 pandemic has just, come to mean something different, or more, mean more maybe. So, kind of as a refresh, and I have been here before, but, we believe, just as Frank and Mary do, that Westborough is a great place to live, no matter what age, stage of life that you are in. There's so much in Westborough for everybody. And what we really try to do is promote all the great people and the organizations and things that are going on. We collaborate and partner with those folks that are already doing really great work and really try to amplify and make sure people know what's going on and what are the resources available, much like you do with this show. So we've had to do, just like a lot of folks have and companies, we've really had to pivot in the recent months, a lot of what we're doing. No longer having our in-person meetings as much or having our coffees. We all love to run down to the coffee shop, many of us, and have meetings or one-on-one kind of touch bases. So a lot of that has been taken into different areas, doing more phone calls and online. But we've been doing some things to keep up our regular communication through our email newsletters, which now we're doing actually weekly, just to kind of promote, inspire, try to promote some kindness that's going on and things like that. And as Shelby said, most recently, we have launched a new project called Together Apart Always, sharing stories of connection and resilience in Westborough. So this whole project is about really preserving the collective and individual experiences of all of us as a community during this epidemic and time of physical distancing. We know that there are many, many struggles going on. People are going through their individual, and collectively we are going through a lot of hardships. There's also these moments of grace and unexpected joy and simplicity in the things that in our lives we take for granted on a regular basis, but that we can look around and take a moment to pause. And when we're doing it together and we know others are doing the same thing, it really fills us up. So with this project, we are trying to collect images, photos from people, or short kind of words of reflection, 50 words or less we're looking for, that really just kind of capture what's going on. So there are different themes that we're looking at, capturing things like "Together We're Stronger" is one of the themes of like a chapter of the book that we're calling it. Learning something new, what's a change of scenery, or seeing something through a different lens. So we're really looking to collect those visual stories and perspectives. The final kind of outcome of that will be a book, a keepsake book that we will produce. That piece of it will be a fundraiser to continue the work of Westborough Connects and help fund our ongoing organizational needs. But we'll also make the images and some sort of slide presentation available on our website for free for people after the project is done.
When I heard about this idea, I just loved it. And for folks wondering, I started to journal my entries by taking a photo here of this group as really a way to kind of memorialize and capture, how our outreach to the community has changed, and what better way to start it. So, but I think this is great. Kelley, can you talk to our viewers who may not have Facebook, may not, although we do want to make sure we get the newsletter email address up for folks that want to join. So I know Aiden and the Westborough TV team will take care of that. But can you talk to our viewers about how they could submit information in the absence of technology?
Sure. Yes. So we have a few different ways to kind of interact with this project. As Shelby mentioned, we do have a Facebook page, but not everybody is on Facebook. So we'll make that page available if you want to join and follow it and like it, and you can submit pictures and photos through there or comments. We also have an email address set up for this project, and it's called Kathy5connects@gmail.com. Another option is to mail. If you order prints from your photos, or you have a printer at home, photo printer at home, you're welcome to mail them to our P.O. Box, P.O. Box 1476 in Westborough, Massachusetts, 01581. Everybody knows that. But if those options don't work for you, just give me a call. My name's Kelley Patralia. I'm the executive director. My phone number is on a lot of things. I'm happy to provide that as well. It's 617-877-0635, and we can kind of work together. If you want to hang something on the outside of your door and have me come pick it up and scan it in, I'm happy to do that as well. We just want to get this out to as many people as possible to have as many voices and perspectives represented. We're also translating many of our materials so people know how to engage with the project. We've translated them in Portuguese, Spanish, and Arabic.
Oh. Arthur, are you speechless?
That's a pretty amazing project. I mean, the notion of stepping back and realizing that this is this amazing moment in time. Right. I remember it reminds me of, so I do a show with another wonderful co-host in Nantucket, and when I go to Nantucket, there's a museum right at the dock, the whaling museum, which has been closed for a number of months, but there's a wonderful sign in the front that says, soon this will be history,
Mm-hmm.
And so documenting this unusual historical moment and giving people a chance to document it in the context of building community is just a really wonderful thing. That's a really wonderful thing. How do you find these things? It's just a great idea. And thank you for the fact that for Shelby and I, we've talked about, this show reaches a set of the population that may not be as interested in some of the computer literacy, as others. So to give everybody really a way to participate in this is a really important thing. So the grandchildren will be seeing what their grandparents were thinking about during this bizarre time when they, 50 years from now when they grow old. It's really great.
Right. And every age and every generation has a different perspective on this, for the youngest people that are kind of going through this, aware of what's going on, they have not, none of us have anything to really compare this to, but they have no real perspective of this versus somebody who's gone through times of collective, strife and challenges. So it is important to have all of those kind of ages represented.
Right, and to have everybody represent. I heard a comment actually earlier today from somebody who was saying that it's a pastor in a church in Northborough who was talking about the fact that they're doing a lot of stuff that's virtual and they're doing Zoom, but they said that the kids are now not wanting to watch it. They're so tired of being in front of their computer screens. He said, "What a concept." There are kids tired of being in front of their computer screen. So it's just a strange moment in that it has caused people to be like outside a lot, and it's really interesting. It's a fascinating thing. And I suppose you're really connecting with, of course, a whole variety of these populations. Has this, triggered a good response already, or is this just kicking off?
So we just kicked it off last Friday. We have a pretty engaged, group of folks that do like work and volunteer. Really, this is driven by volunteers, and we've had a lot of engagement already. We've had people submitting both through the email and through Facebook, submitting pictures and just like expressing their enthusiasm. We've had some shout outs and stuff. It's been great. And we've been talking to different organizations, of course, like our library, along with the Westborough Historical Society. They're also doing like more of a longer written word kind of documentation of this time. And so we've talked to them about our project, which is a little bit of a different approach, and we've just been talking to others out there and there's been a great response. So
that's pretty terrific. Shelby, how do you find these people?
Well, Kelley and the entire team of at Westborough Connects, inclusive of the board and just the committees, and it's a dynamic, healthy, positive group to work with. And I've never participated in a meeting that I didn't walk away from where I felt like, wow, we've got work to do, but this is really fun. And so kudos to all the work that's been done so far. Kelley, do you want to just mention any other programs that are coming up? Anything else? Just want to give you a moment.
Yes, as I said, we do have an email newsletter. Not everybody is on email, and we've tried to make it a print version, but there are limitations to our system. And as we grow and have more funding, hopefully we'll be able to make something in more of a printed format for all. But I encourage people, if you're interested, to sign up for our newsletter. We do have a website called Westborough Connects, .org. That's the address. Or again, you can email me at kelleykonnects1. That's Kelley connects1 @gmail.com. And I used to have coffee and tea with people in Red Barn all the time, or Panera, or wherever, but I'm happy to do a virtual coffee or tea if anybody wants to reach out and chat, and we can talk about the things that we're working on. Right now, we're working with other civic groups in the town, the task force in the town, to try to match people up with folks that have needs in terms of like not critical like food insecurity needs, although we're happy we include that information in our newsletter, but we're matching people up who might want to help with, where there might be needs. So we're doing a community swap of crafts and puzzles and yarn right now. And it's involving the rec department, the library, the senior center, and the schools. We were just involved in a face shield project with Rotary Club and the Civic Club. of Westborough. We assembled 1,400 masks, shields, I'm sorry, face shields, not masks, and got them out to frontline healthcare providers and others. So there's a lot of great work going on, and it's awesome to be part of.
Yeah, so I want to remind our viewers, so this typically will air today's Wednesday. The Westborough TV team usually produces this for the public viewing on Friday. So the following Monday, which is, I believe, the 18th, is another day where community members can bring crafts and puzzles and games and that sort of thing to the Forbes Municipal Building, right, Kelley?
Yes. From 3 to 5.
Thank you. Yep.
Yes, 3 to 5 p.m. On Mondays. Right now, we're collecting on Mondays from 3 to 5 p.m. On the right side entryway. So the police, where the police entryway is, and you're welcome to bring really gently used or like new kind of items. And there are volunteers from the Women's Club that are accepting those donations. So we just ask, if you don't see a volunteer there to accept them, don't leave your donations unattended. But we've worked with the Board of Health to make sure that we're safely letting those donations sit for 4 days, and then they'll be distributed beginning next Friday, the 22nd, I believe, is that, from 10 to 12 in front of the library. And then we're also actually distributing them through the Westborough Public Schools, their meal program that they're doing, and through the Senior Center. Alma and Mary Donna are helping with that piece of it as well.
Yeah, and I want to assure the public that through my participation on the task force, Kelley is also part of the task force representing Westborough Connects, that there's been painstaking details to ensure the safety of those collecting, those dropping off, and ultimately those receiving. So just want to assure the public of that thoughtful process. So great. Excellent. Kelley, well, thank you so much. Arthur?
Thank you.
I'm sure the ratings are going to go through the roof again. We'll have to reserve.
We'll send you your ratings, and we may have you back again by popular demand. No, it's just you keep doing such refreshing new things, And when things are a little bit calmer, I'd be interested in just having you kind of come back to talk about some of the highlights of what came in. This is just a wonderful thing.
Thank you. Yes, anytime. I'm happy to come back. Thank you both for what you're doing. It's great.
Thanks, Kelley. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And we'll be back soon. Thank you. Hi, welcome back to this installment of Frank and Mary here in Westborough, the COVID-19 edition. I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Shelby Marshall. And Shelby, I know that what we've tried to do with these shows is we just had a great guest, Kelley Patralia, but we've also tried to use the show to keep folks informed about kind of what is going on as an ongoing matter. And certainly we want to keep them informed about what is going on that is directly COVID related, but also what is going on like in the rest of the world, because I think a piece of the difficulty with being kind of stuck at home is that you're not hearing about anything else that's happening. And if you watch the news, all it is COVID, right? Not that that's not an important topic, right? But to start getting a sense, as Kelley had said, to put this in context and know that, the world is continuing now, right? Is important. So can we just kind of talk about that? Talk about kind of what's going on.
Yep. So I'll give a couple updates. We had our Board of Selectmen meeting last night, along with the Board of Health. We continue to do that. It's been a great collaborative effort for folks that haven't had a chance to watch us live, which is the ratings are going through the roof, not unlike this show, but also you can obviously watch that through Westborough TV and stream it and download it at your pleasure. But those meetings have been so helpful. We had a great presentation by the Dairy Queen manager actually last night. Lots of concerns have been, I guess let me rephrase that. Concerns have been raised, some on Facebook, which sort of sometimes can be like fake news. But there was a robust discussion between the Board of Health and the Board of Selectmen at the prior week's meeting about Dairy Queen and social distancing and are we keeping everyone safe and on and on and on. So we had the manager come on last night. She's a Westborough graduate, college graduate, and has been working at Dairy Queen for, I think, something like 10 years. Gave a great visual presentation, narrated by herself, and I think I mentioned it specifically because she spoke to the quality and the seriousness of which a perceived group of young people, 17, 18, 19-year-old staff members and herself being relatively young, are taking this matter and how they're trying to protect the public. And so I encourage folks to listen to that presentation, watch it, and our chair, Ian Johnson, at the very end of the meeting around 10 o'clock, made the point that we all have some personal responsibility in this. So we have personal responsibility to wear a mask or some sort of face covering, right? To keep social distancing, to make sure you don't have 10 people in the line that you don't know, but be respectful, not only of yourself, but those around you. And if we see something that's not right, then let's approach it in a kind way to say, geez, could you cover your face? Or if you have an issue with, let's say, a store owner, go to the manager or make a phone call and say, I've got an issue. Because in the case of Dairy Queen, they got like 1 or 2 complaints, but there was this whole thread on Facebook that just got totally blown out of proportion. And they would have been more than happy to address any of those issues. So a little kindness, a little self-awareness, and the respect that if someone is speaking up and they're concerned, at least give them the opportunity to, share it and be polite about it. So
wow, that's a great thing, because that's really kind of that's a classic on the ground, right? I'm sure people do have those kinds of concerns, right?
Yep.
And but at the same time, Dairy Queen is an important piece of the community.
Well,
right?
it's certainly spreading happiness in a time when we don't want them to be shut down. So I just use that as an example of I think we have great businesses in town that are working closely with the Board of Health to do the right things and continue to modify their kind of plan of attack given the pandemic. But we as patrons have responsibility too, and we in the community have responsibility to sort of say, hey, kind of time out. Let's be kind about how we're addressing this issue. So anyway, not to belabor the point. I also want to give a quick update. We did talk about the further postponement of town meeting. There's a procedural process that our town moderator has to follow. It actually town meeting was set to be in the end of May. We fully anticipate, given that the governor has not issued guidance on the reopening the 4-stage plan, at any level of detail right now, that it will be postponed to June 20th. There are conversations going on about whether to have that in the gymnasium or to have it outside at Westborough High School on the field. And then, of course, it's like lights, weather, how do you kind of visually see all the presentations, whatever. So all those great things are happening behind the scenes to ensure the public safety, but also to ensure that the legislative process can continue.
And what about the elections? Are the elections? What's going on there?
Yes. So the elections have been postponed. Scheduled to June 20th. And you can download a ballot, call the town clerk's office, and have them mail you a ballot. You can also go and vote the day of. And if you download it, you can just drop it in the slot. There's a little black mailbox out in front of town hall. Just drop that in. And we encourage folks to vote in the town election. We also, I do want to recognize the Board of Health gave an update last night. Since last Friday, we had 15 new cases in Westborough. That brings our total to 283. And sadly, we also had 6 folks from Westborough pass away, bringing our total to 47. So, and Dr. Ehrlich, one of our members of Board of Health, gave a great presentation about mortality rates and questions that they've been, people are like, well, I want to know what's the age group of folks that are dying, what were their comorbidities, all of that. So he gave a great, I thought, overview of kind of when we're looking at mortality rate, what is that really telling us? So I would encourage folks to listen to that. And really, he kind of said, really, we want to look at this as trending. Are we getting better or worse? And right now, I think we're sort of in a we're improving, meaning declining, but we're not dropping off a cliff, which we'd all like to see, so we can get back to normal. The Board of Health also made the point that with these 4 phases that the governor is rolling out, to make it clear that those phases will operate independently of each other and differently across industries. So, you might have law offices that roll out at a different phase and place than obviously a sit-down takeout restaurant. So just kind of to let people know to watch that process. We had a great recommendation from Syed Hashmi, who's a member of the board, suggesting a lowering of the flags to recognize those who have been lost from COVID-19. So our town manager is going to work with our veterans agent to make sure we do that in a way that's respectful. And so we're more to come on that, but we hope to incorporate not only the lowering of the flags for a couple of days, but also working with the churches and the town hall to ring the bells on a particular day of time to recognize all that we've been, kind of going through as a way to collectively gather and in a safe way and recognize that. I'll take a breath.
And then I want, and I was going to say, and then I want you. I know that you wanted to talk a little bit about the guest that we're hoping to have next time.
Yeah.
Because then we're about out of time, so we should be close. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So we'll have Phil Kittredge on from our food pantry, and we may have another guest. Just depends upon time. I would like to ask anyone that would like to suggest future guests. Westborough TV will put my email up. I'm happy to receive those requests, and we'll bring on whoever we can. I do think it would be great for us to have on our town manager to talk about the budget impacts for FY20 and 21, and maybe to get a master plan update and lots of other things kind of planned. So love bringing this content to everyone. Arthur, it's a pleasure to work with you, and just ask everyone to be kind and be safe and be smart.
Be kind and be safe. Thank you very much all for watching. Thank you, Shelby. Thank you very much for the folks at Westborough Cable who've just done a great job of, I think, using this as a way to keep a lot of people informed who otherwise might not have the same kind of connection. And we'll see you on the next installment of Frank and Mary here in Westborough, the COVID-19 edition. Thank you.
Bye.